Up, y'all? It's your favorite coach, Javon Woodard from Live Not Loathe. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel on Live Not Loathe. Just search it, or the link is in the bio if you're over on Facebook. And follow me on Instagram and Facebook for can't miss content that is designed to help you obtain a purposeful, fulfilling life. I'm dropping videos every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and every Sunday at noon Eastern Time. Now, I'm excited about this one today. Forgiveness equals success, so we're going to jump right into it. Not going to waste any time for y'all. We all know that forgiveness can be hard. It takes a concerted effort to be able to say, I forgive you, and mean it without holding any resentment or a grudge against someone. Forgiveness is not letting someone come into your life and disrupt your energy and get away with it and do whatever they want to do. So I'm gonna put that right out in the front. That's not forgiveness. And if you're doing that, we're gonna talk about it. Hit me up. You have to discern whether or not that person needs to be in your life in the first place. What is their position, right? Why are they there? Why are you trying to forgive them? And that includes the old you, right? That you don't want. If you know that you're doing some things that just aren't right, you have to forgive yourself too to become the best version of you. And we're going to cover some stuff on self forgiveness because that's very important. Now, setting boundaries and letting people know those boundaries, that's important in identifying when you should forgive and let it go, or when you should forgive and let them go. Notice you're forgiving anyway. Holding a grudge doesn't serve you at all. Oftentimes, sometimes we just let people come into our lives and there's no lines. There's no boundaries for certain people in our lives. They just come in and do whatever they want. We have to get over that. And in order to do that, you have to know your self-worth. Forgiveness only works when you know your self-worth. Know what you will and will not tolerate. Now, on toleration, I want y'all to do an exercise I designed on identifying what you're tolerating right now, and I'll drop the link. Give me 1 second. I'm going to drop it on the live for y'all. Ain't working, so I'm going to drop it in a minute. All right, I'll drop it in a bit, y'all. If if you want to do it, I'll drop it for y'all in a bit towards the end. And then you can download it. I think it's a really good exercise for you. So let's talk about the law of vibration and what that is. The law of vibration says that everything around you has energy. From yourself, from the desk that I'm sitting at, the computer I'm working on, it all gives off energy, right? And it's moving towards a way, whether energy is negative or positive. And that means that it's going to impact your vibe, right? How you're receiving that energy is going to impact your vibe. So you have to be conscious about what vibes you're letting in around you or within you. Now, to forgive, you have to recognize that that energy isn't serving you in any way, that you're being hurt or impacted negatively in some way. Excuse me. And to say you don't like what's happening and that you're going to change it, or you're not going to accept those things in your life that isn't serving you in the way that you want to be served. You have to consciously say that and identify that and take inventory of things that's in your life right now in order to see if it belongs, right? See if it's fitting the path that you're on. Not where you are, the path that you're on, where you're trying to be. It's one thing to say you forgive internally, but it's another thing to really outwardly project that forgiveness to that person or that thing, right? Or yourself. So what I recommend is you actually letting that person know how they made you feel, right? How it made you feel. And this may be the end conversation, right? If it was something so egregious that you can't forgive, then you have to tell them like, yo, I didn't like, what happened, but I'm not going to hold a grudge against you. I'm just going to let you go because I have things to do and I'm not going to let you hold me back. You're not going to be the tether or the anchor that's holding me where I am now when I'm trying to get there. Remember that if you do decide to keep them in your life, though, that's a decision that you've constantly made, right? You actually said, I forgive you and I'm going to let this go. And that you are really signing the contract with them. You're really saying, like, I forgave you, but I expect your behavior to change now that I let you know that I forgive you. And that's the key part, because you need to be careful with this, because some people, you tell them you forgive them and that you expect their behavior to change, that behavior never changes. They take it as you saying, like, oh, it was okay for you to do what you did to me, right? It was okay for you to do me wrong, and I'm still going to allow you to do that. So you can just keep pushing the envelope and doing whatever you want to do and see how long it takes me to let you go. Don't allow that. Check in with yourself and see if you're forgiving because you want to or because you need to. Now let me get deeper on this. It's an important distinction, whether you're forgiving because you want to or because you need to. And before I get into this, remember that if any of this is resonating with y'all, make sure you like, comment, share, and do all that so I can, we can keep this going. If you're feeling this and if you think it'll help someone else, because that's important in getting this message out. Now, let's talk about forgiveness for the sake of wanting to, for understanding your self worth and saying that what this person did, I won't allow anymore, but I do recognize that it didn't cross the boundaries. It wasn't demeaning enough, or it didn't hurt me enough where I'm saying, like, yo, I need to let this person go before they take me down a path that it's going to take me a while to get out of. Set those boundaries and realize that you're not tolerating with anything that continues to cross it. Don't lie to yourself and say that you're forgiving because you want to, right? Really pay attention to that. If you need to forgive, then we definitely need to talk, because this is dangerous. That means you've given your power to someone, right? Someone holds the key to your life if you need to forgive them. It's important to tell yourself the truth. There's one person you need to tell the truth to, is you. So you can't tell the truth to yourself. If you can't say I'm being stupid, then that's a deeper issue, because you lost yourself, and your self worth is not there. You know, just there's exercise, and there's ways I'm going to cover on how to do that self worth exercise, or that self worth escalation, how to raise it, and how to reevaluate yourself, because you should be saying I'm priceless and my time is priceless because it's a finite resource, and I'm not going to let someone take it and play around with me. So, what do you need to ask yourself when you think about forgiving, especially when it comes to yourself? You have to ask, like, yo, is this mistake, is it worth me really ruining my whole life, right? Is it worth throwing off the whole trajectory of my life? Should I be so hard on myself because I made a mistake with a person or a thing or whatever? The answer is no, right? You cannot let someone or something, if you're still breathing, right? You still have breath in your lungs. It may be hard. It may take a while, right? None of this forgiveness is not an overnight thing, right? It's a process. It's a process where you're really putting in effort to forgive, especially when it comes to yourself. You can't just throw your hands up and be like, oh, that's it. I'm checking out of life. It's not. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. You have to ask yourself, how am I going to get past this? And make a plan. See what work you need to do, whether it's therapy, coaching, or anything, something along those lines, talking to someone else like a friend, whatever it is, that starts you, right? That's how you're going to start the process of forgiving and of healing. And that's why I titled this "Forgiveness Equals Success." Because if you're not healed, you will never reach your full potential. You, as I say, you will never unlock your power because you're holding on to something that's holding you back. You're reaching back for something that doesn't serve you. It's really a weight on you. It's a burden that you don't need. Like, it's not serving you. Stop asking how you're gonna have some semblance of a good life, and then start asking, like, what steps can I allow myself to forgive? What steps can I take to allow myself to forgive? How do you want your life to look from this point forward? What will you no longer tolerate? How do you apply what you've learned to better serve you, to become a better person? And some of y'all are probably looking at this screen like, yo, this is bull, man. This dude just talking, he's just saying stuff because it sounds good. Well, no. This is what I had to go through with myself, right? Forgiving myself because I've done things in my life where I wasn't proud of, right? I'm sure most of us have. But it was holding me back. Like, I literally had to go through these steps that I'm about to share with y'all to become the person that I am today. Or else I would have been stuck in the past, right? I would have be doing myself a disservice. I would have never elevated to the person I am now because I was holding on to my lower self. So I'm gonna walk y'all through the process that I went through as I recall it. Right, this is a constant thing because, as depression sometimes it just comes out of nowhere and you don't even know why. And the same with PTSD, right? So there's really no rhyme or reason. You try to look for a trigger, sometimes you can't find it. But here's the steps I took to forgive myself. The first thing I did was I truly processed how I was feeling about whatever it was, whatever mistake I made. What emotions am I going through? What did was I sad? Was I angry? Was I upset? What emotions was I going through? To do that thing and after I did that thing, you have to take inventory and allow yourself to see that. Allow yourself to really sit within those feelings. Because the moment you suppress it, you think you suppressed it, is the moment it's going to be there for a long, long time until you really dig it back out and address that thing head on. The best way to get past anything really is to face it head on, whatever that obstacle is. So if you never give yourself permission to really deal with that feeling, it's going to haunt you, bottom line. Putting it in the back of your mind just does not work. It doesn't work. It's one of the worst things you could do. The second thing was to realize what I learned from it. What lessons learned did I have? Right? I didn't die. I didn't die from it. I didn't get maimed, whatever it was. I'm here, and I'm the only way I'm going to be whole while I'm here is by realizing, like, yo, that was cool. That was a mistake. We all do it. But what lessons can I take from it? How can I use this going forward to become who I want to become and then have the life that I want? So there shouldn't be anything that ruins your life so much to the point that you just give up. Like I said earlier, you still have power. You still have agency over yourself. I know sometimes it looks like bleak and it looks dim and it looks dark. It's a pit, it's an abyss, like you're not going to get out. But you keep working and you have the right people around you, the right team, you'll be good. There's examples of this all over. You see them everywhere, right? Of people just digging up because they decided to forgive. They decided to forgive themselves. They decided to forgive the person, right? So they can move forward. Now, the third thing is I apologize to whoever else I may have hurt. And if they say, hey, nah, you hurt me too much, then I got to respect those boundaries, right? Like I said earlier, if they tell me that, then I respect it too. I'm not going to sit there and try to come into their lives, like nothing happened. because that's no good. That's no good for either of us, right? It's no good for either of us. The fourth thing was that I visualized what I wanted my life to look like from this point going forward. You have to really see that. You have to realize that, that point is not your stopping point. That's not it. That's not the end all be all. And see what you want to be. Make sure you dream big. See it big. Because that's part of the law of attraction. See it big, and then work towards that. Put in that work. And then I went back and I tried to find out the root cause of, like I said, I think I said this one, like find out the root cause of what it was that made me want to do whatever I did, or that sparked that me taking that action. And then once you do that, then you can start working on that too. Forgiving yourself for that. It's really, like I said, it's a process. And then the last thing I did, I apologized to myself, which probably should have been the first thing, to be honest. Probably should have apologized to myself, but I couldn't because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready until I did the other work, right? That first 5 steps. I wasn't ready until that was over. And you can change this up as you see fit, but it'll help, Like virtually everything that we talk about in these segments that I do, you have to be intentional about the work you're putting in. You have to. You can't half-ass it. You have to really grind and put it in and do what you need to do, right? For it to stick, for it to be lasting. Just remember, like, you're not gonna go through life unscathed. Life is a journey, and sometimes it seems like an arduous process. But that's also the beauty in life. The beauty in life is that you can get dinged up, hurt, bruised, but you can heal. The human body, God, he did his thing on this one. He did his thing on us. The human body can virtually heal from most things, right? Whether that's internal or external. Take advantage of that. Allow yourself to heal. Allow yourself to see like your self-worth is up, right? As Cardi would say, if it's up, then it's up. Your self-worth need to be up. You need to keep it up there. Self-worth needs to be something that's priceless. It needs to be something that you are not willing to compromise on. If you feel like you're struggling with self-worth right now, you can DM me right now. DM me, IG, Facebook. Hit me in the chats if you want to talk about it right now. I'm going to work with y'all because self-worth is something that you cannot compromise on. It needs to be up at all times. The moment you feel like it's waning, you need to do something to get it back up, to realize how dope you are. Don't let it go. That's a show. That's a show. We're going to do that. We're going to do self-worth. That's coming. So, because it's going to be the key to forgiveness and healing is identifying, recognizing, working on that self-worth. Especially if you're the one that you need to forgive. So, I don't see any comments here today, so hit me up if something does come up. But I'm going to wrap this one up. It's going to be a nice, short, and sweet. To the point. That's how most of my episodes are. But I'm always here for you. And if you need anything, you want to talk about something, hit me up. Much love to y'all. Peace.